where we are talking electric cars. Any excuse to play Oasis heralds the arrival of Philip Heumann. He's the Key Solutions Manager at ShamsPlug here in the UAE. It's a company that sells electric vehicle charging devices. Philip, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We've asked you to come in because of the big story this week, the collab between Parkin and Etisalat E&, to install 200 ultra-fast electric vehicle chargers across Dubai. Big words from the guys behind it. Engineer Mohammed Abdullah Al-Ali of Parkin said this collaboration is essential to accelerate the adoption of electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. Fine, a noble goal. I'm not convinced this is the real problem to be solved, electric vehicle charging stations. But you tell me, how significant is this?
Okay, well, first and foremost, congratulations to everyone that's involved in that agreement. I know, especially the guys at Charge&Go very, very well. So I do know that whatever they put their mind to, they will achieve it. But will it solve the whole EV situation in the UAE? I think more needs to be done. It's a great start. The 200 charging stations is something that we definitely do need here in the UAE, also in Dubai, especially in the public spaces where we do want to park, right? But it's one piece of the puzzle.
And that was my reaction. This is great. And again, yeah, all power to their elbow. But I have an electric car. And as so many people have said around the world, the way to get electric cars to work is to have charging at home. You can top up at a charging station like this, but really for mass adoption, it's charging at home. Most people live in apartments, and that's very different. You and I have spoken about that before on the Business Breakfast, but where do we stand with getting charging in apartments?
Yeah, so charging in an apartment is... there's still a long way to go. A lot of developers are looking at that. They want to retrofit their buildings. But the power availability is still one of the main constraining factors here. And that's going to be a challenge that the Parkin and Charge&Go team will also face when they're looking for the right locations to put their charging stations. So if it is public, if it is private parking, you're always going to be looking at power. Where am I taking my power from? And what's the most efficient use of my power, right? How am I splitting the power available between multiple residents? Because everyone will want to actually charge, right?
So why is it possible for me? I live in a villa. I just installed a charger. I don't think it was from you guys, but from someone when I bought an electric car. They installed it, fine, no problem. No one worried about the load on my house. And yet for someone in an apartment who's got parking spot B47, you can't put one in B47 for that apartment. I mean, you know, my villa's not that much bigger than a medium-sized apartment. So why is that? Why that difference?
Yeah. So if it's your house, your villa, it's your DB, right? So
my what?
Your distribution board.
Okay.
So it is your meter. You're paying for that electricity. Now, if we're looking into the common parking spaces that we have, or assigned parking within the residential complex, where are you taking your power from? You're not going to start pulling the cable from your distribution board within your apartment down all the way to the parking space to then have power for your EV charger.
But why not? It doesn't sound that difficult. I mean, it's just a power cable.
Yes, but then you're going to start, to modify the building. You're going to have to rip up walls, pulling the cables through. So you'd have to go to a sub-main distribution board from the common area, right? And then often the facility management companies, the homeowner associations are going to ask who's going to then pay for the electricity. So metering and sub-metering becomes a very, very important topic. And also, who are we going to prefer with the little spare load that we have available? So here, we are looking at, maybe rolling out more charging stations, having smart charging that gives a hierarchy maybe, that does a cascaded charging so that, overnight everyone plugs in when they come home. And then overnight we are receiving a sequence, so to speak, where then one car after another is being charged. So there is technology out there. We're looking to implement that here in Dubai and in the UAE for sure. but there's still a long way to go, and also the openness of residential owners to allow that technology.
So what about, okay, I get it for a 1980s apartment block in Dera. It's going to be hard to retrofit that. I get it. So that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So many new buildings going up, some of them very expensive buildings. People like their cars. For these new towers that are going up, can you have individual charging in the bays? You don't have to retrofit it. You just design it into the initial design. Is that happening at all?
We're not seeing reserved parking for one resident that can then have their own EV charger. What we are seeing, and that's definitely a trend over the last 2-3 years, that developers have considered EV charging in their design. They have also been directed by the building code here in Dubai and the UAE to do so. And we are getting a lot of developers that are now offering shared charging bays, where whenever you do want to charge, you can use it. But after you're done charging, you do need to vacate the bay and make it available for others.
Okay, fine. Right. Well, let's talk about the business that you do have, which is installing charging stations for companies and also in individual homes. Electric car sales are not going through the roof. What are you seeing through your secondary data from sales of charging devices?
Yeah. So we are seeing that the interest is holding. It's not through the roof, no, but it is definitely going and continuing. So there is stability in the market, but there's not as much growth as we might have expected when we saw companies like BYD come into the market. Where we are seeing a lot of investment are from limousine companies that are electrifying their fleet, because for them there's also a clear business case. But they are being restricted by the charging infrastructure available. So especially these limousine operators, taxi drivers, they are going to be very, very keen on the new EV charging stations that Parkin and charge&go are looking to put up in public spaces.
So, but it is, if you can get the infrastructure right, it is still significantly cheaper to fill up a car for 500 kilometers with electricity rather than petrol, right? In simple terms, we've got about a minute left. What's the differential for, let's take a Lexus, to fill it up with petrol or fill it up with electricity? What's the difference in price at the moment?
Oh, it will be less than half. So sometimes we see it is a third cheaper to drive electric, more than half cheaper. So there definitely is a good saving that you can have with driving electric. And if you're charging publicly, right? Charging publicly is always more expensive than charging at home, because you're paying a premium for the service. You're then also bound to the tariffs that are in place in the UAE. But charging at home, if you're only charging at home, you're going to have like 2/3 of a saving.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 electric cars now at home. I was comparing my DEWA bill this July to last July. It's barely moved, and we're charging 2 cars.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good stuff. Appreciate your time, Philip. Thanks for coming in to clear that up. Philip Heumann is the Key Solutions Manager at ShamsPlug. Appreciate your time. You're listening to The Business Breakfast.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.